Good morning and welcome to this live about my sentiments and my message banner die. I will just refresh my computer. Let's get Facebook up, give people a chance to join me. Alexa, stop. I forgot to turn the radio off. Never mind, I've done it now. Thought it was a bit strange. Sorry about that. Okay, so I hope that you can hear me loud and clear. I have got my mic on, so hi Philippa, just some thumbs up or a little message to say that you can hear me, that would be good. Morning Jill. Morning everybody who's watching, because it doesn't tell me everybody. It tells me there's all these people watching, but it doesn't actually always tell me who they are. Hi Belinda. Excellent, thanks Jill. Hi Hilary. Hi Sue. Thank you for joining me this morning, ladies. I just really wanted to run over my reasoning behind my new little stamp set. I know it's round the wrong way, but I'll flip the camera in a minute. And using it with my message banner die. And I know that we've got lots of new people following now that maybe weren't around when it all first came out. So it'd be good to have a refresh and to pass some hints and tips on for lining things up and yeah, just different things that you can use with it. And I'm going to be also using probably my new favourite powders at the moment, which are the Wow polished. There's no point showing them to you. I'm going to flip the camera, but there's the polished gold and the polished silver. And I have to say, they are absolutely beautiful. So I've missed lots of people now. Let me go back and just like to say hello to a few people. Hi Jackie, hi Lucy, hi Samantha, hi Debs. Oh, I don't know if you've had your last dot, but if you have, I hope it went well. Hi Jane, hi Maxine. Hello Maxine. Oh, that's lovely. Morning Wendy. Excellent. Hi Christine. Okay, so I hope that I'm going to give you some hints and tips of different things that you can do with the sentiments, and maybe I hope you pick up something that you didn't know. So morning Gail. So bear with me while I flip the camera. Oh, I've just realised when I speak, my microphone on the phone, the little symbol of it, goes green. It's all very professional, isn't it? Okay, so I just wanted to talk about, sorry, this isn't a very good, let's move the camera a little bit, get it right. Okay, so just wanted to talk a little bit about the different elements that I'm going to be using. So I'm going to be using my all-time favourite embossing pad, the Wow one, as for me personally, and I used to be a Versamark girl, but the Wow one for me personally stays open and it's stickier and it just holds the powder so much better. So this is my preferred embossing pad. If you're having problems and you don't have one of these and you want to have a go at embossing, like if you're trying to improve and you don't have a Wow pad, I really would recommend having a go with a Wow pad. I'm going to be using the new polished gold, which is a regular powder, and the polished silver, which also, I think they only come regular at the moment. I don't know for sure, but I think they are only regular at the moment, and they're absolutely fine, even for really fine, like these really fine detailed sentiments, which I will show you shortly. Going to be using it with my message banner, and I'm going to be showing you some hints and tips for how to line this up in case you don't know, and just for doing what I do, or how I use it, I should say. Then I just got all these sentiments out because these are I wanted to focus on the big fonts, and they just look beautiful with these new powders. So got the happy and the birthday, and then you've got all the lots of different words that you can build up different sentiments. And obviously now that we're adding more into the collection, you can always do the thinking of and then you. Or I did think that you could probably stamp out the for and then cut the letters out and maybe do a big of if you wanted to. And then obviously you've got thank, and you can put it with the U, or you have got a little U in here. But the more we expand on this range of sentiments, it just means that you're going to be able to do more and more sentiments of your own. And then this is the latest one. So this is the one that's just come out recently. And I wanted to do a set that you could almost use all 5 on a card. So just wanted to say happy birthday, have the best day ever, enjoy every minute, and have a magical birthday. Maybe you could put those 3 on the front, those 2 inside. I don't know, but just wanted to make it so that there was something that you could put on the inside as well as the outside of your card as well. They have been designed, they fit in the banner absolutely perfectly. I don't have the boards anymore. I sent them to my good friend Hazel, and she's had them. But the boards that I did I showed the die cut banners, but I also showed how the sentiments work beautifully with the stitched banner stamp set, which I didn't grab, which was silly. So there is the original one, which is the normal. So this gives you a solid line, and this came with 5 sentiments as well. So in here, I'm going to have to take it off to be able to read them. There is happy birthday, enjoy your special day, make a wish, have the best day ever, and it's your birthday. So they're all in a plain font. And then we brought out the stitched banner, which gives you a lovely dotted line around the outside edge. And this says, wishing you a wonderful day, thank you for all you do, special delivery just for you, with love and best wishes, and sending you happiness. So you can stamp. Now, when we originally bought them out, it was so that you could stamp the 5 banners with the 5 sentiments. Then the more we used it, it was, okay, I like the fact that I can die cut 5 banners, but I might not want all those sentiments. So I've done them individually now, which makes them easy to line up in your banner. And you can pick which ones you want to do. You might want to do just happy birthday, have the best day ever, or happy birthday, enjoy every minute, and do a lot of them, die cut lots in one go, and then stamp lots in one go. Usually what I do when I did my lot, which I've still got some left here, I did some just stamping. I did it onto watercolour card, I did it onto super smooth, then I did some black with white embossing, and then I also did a set, I've probably used them all now. Oh no, there we go. So I did a set that was embossed as well. So I had a set that was just stamped onto the super smooth, stamped onto watercolour, and then embossed in different colours, and then black with white embossing as well. And there's nothing wrong with putting black and silver or black and gold. I always forget. So I'm going to pop these bits to one side. I'll keep the embossing powders and that out, so they can go back shortly. So I wanted to start with my die, because I like to make myself this little jig so that I've got this that I can use time and time again when I want to do the sentiments. And what I've done is I've die cut it and I've taped it on the back, but I've put the banners back in ready to be stamped. But I've used the tape to hold everything in place, because this is quite skinny, obviously. So I'm going to show you how I did the black one. I've actually die cut it, but I haven't stuck it, because I thought you might like to see how I'd actually done it. Okay, so that one's ready to use. So I've used a black piece of card, and instead of doing it right up at the top, because I want to use this as a jig, I've put it in the middle of my piece of card, so it makes it a little bit more sturdy. And it's quite useful having a black one as well as a white one, so you could put your white sentiments in the black jig and you'll be able to see them a little bit better. So that might help with lining up a little bit as well. So I am just popping this piece out. So I have my die, and I have my piece of card. I'm going to actually do it on that side. And I have these little hearts, look, that I could use for something as well. And if you'll just excuse me a minute, I just need to wipe. I was embossing before I went live, and I've got lots of embossing powder and ink on my mat, and I can feel it all. So let me just give this a wipe. Now I'm going to share a technique with you in a minute that I've just done before I came to air. It was all sticky, and that's better. Right, so I have my piece of card. You need to make sure you've got it up the right way. And we're going to put our piece, our die cut piece, back in. And that's up the right way as well. So the right die, so when you die cut something, there's definitely a front which has got the smooth edges, and then the back which has got the cut edges. So you want to make sure that everything's up the right way to start with. Then I'm going to flip this over, and I know it's all going to move, so I'm going to have to do it all again. I wanted to do it in this white piece so you can see it. Okay, so what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to take some tape, and this is like Scotch removable tape, but it is strong enough to hold it in. So I'm going to line this up with the bottom, and it has to be really right down to the edge, like properly in there. I can have that overhanging piece of tape, so that's going to help hold on to the sentiments, the banners as well, when I pop them back in. So you have to remember it's going to stick to everything, so make sure that it's right up to the edge. Pop that down and just overhang your tape a little bit so that it's going to catch when you put the pieces in. And now I'm going to do the sides, and I have to make sure that it's long enough. Don't try and do two little short pieces, because that won't work. You need to have it, and that's too much overhanging, because it only needs to catch a little bit. So bring it down a bit. Okay, and see, what I want to do is I want to stabilize these bits in the middle here, because if I just put tape down, there's a chance I'm not actually getting them straight. So I'm going to put my banners back in to where they should be. So we'll turn this over now, and I'm going to make sure the banners are up the right way, right into the corner, so you'll feel it like slot in properly. And then the little tiny pieces in between will be in the right place, as long as you've got those really in properly. And I haven't at that corner now. So this is something that you need to take your time over, because once you've made this, you can use it and use it and use it, and then there will come a time when the tape's obviously not going to be sticky anymore. So just make sure that little thin bit is in there and everything is lined up really nicely. So that bit's not, because otherwise you're going to push everything out, and then your lining up isn't going to work properly. So like I say, it really is worth taking your time just to do this, and then you'll have a brilliant little tool that you can use time and time again. So right in that corner, just run your finger down so that you know that little skinny bit is in the right place. And everything should really slot in, just like it's properly die cut. Right, so now I've got those pieces, and I can feel that they're all in the right place now. So if I turn this over, I can get some long pieces of tape, and I need to go from the top of the tape to the bottom of the tape, and I'm going to put one about there, and I'm going to firm that down for the skinny bits more than anything else. And then one more piece. So make sure it's long enough can I welcome everybody else who's joined me since I've started talking, and I haven't been reading the messages. So hello to everybody, and thank you so much for joining me. I will go back. I always read them afterwards, and if there's anything I need to answer, I will answer. But I know that Philippa is watching, and she's always really good at answering questions as well. So Philippa, feel free if you need to. So this is now ready for us to stamp onto. Sometimes it's a good idea to put the white ones in the black piece. It's entirely up to you. So let's see how we get on, and bring my stamping press in. And I can move my die out of the way. Let's put it away. I don't think I'm going to need it again unless I want to die cut some more. Right, so I'm going to use the powders. Don't need my tape anymore. So that should be a good position, I think. Okay, so in my stamping press, I'm going to place my banners. And so these are all ready, and then I can get my set of skinny sentiments. I haven't made any storage for these yet. How bad is that? And then I'm just going to pop, sorry if my head gets in the way, I don't think it will, but I'm just lining these up now so that I've got a nice border either side. And once I've done one, I can pick it up. Then I know that's in the right place. Go down to the second one, and again with the happy birthday, just lining that up. I find it much easier, got a nice even border, to do the stamping onto the die cuts rather than stamping and then die cutting. So I like to do it this way round. But pick them up each time, because that way you don't run the risk of jogging them or them touching. And I don't know about you, but when they start touching and they stick all over the place, and once you've got it in the right place, you can move it, and then you're ready to go. Okay, so again, just making sure that I think this is about the right, nice and even either side, and then I can pick it up. And then what I would do is I would die cut lots of these. So die cut lots of banners, just take them out of the centre, and then you can replace the banners once you've stamped them into the jig, and then it'll all be in place with the tape holding everything there. So I'm just going to wipe. Now I've touched this card so much I've hardly got anything left in my anti-static bag. I keep forgetting to buy another one. So then I'm going to ink my stamps, and I've re-inked my pad as well this morning, so I know that I can go gently on here because it's nice and juicy. And then because these are lovely fine fonts, I don't want to be pushing too hard because they are polymer stamps. They're quite soft. So if you push down too hard, you're going to get really thick sentiments, which you don't want. So you're just going to push gently. When I have a class, and lots of you will vouch for this, I say to you fairy fingers, because you need to be gentle. And because I put this in here and it's all in the jig, if it doesn't work, I can put it back in and stamp it again. So we'll take my little catcher, and I'll do these ones with gold, and then I'll do some silver ones on the black. So I'm going to tap down. It will stick where the tape is exposed in my little hearts, but that's okay. So it's lovely and clean. Can see one little spot now. Okay, so up by the two, I can see a little blob. There we go. And there is. So a good thing is just perhaps give it a tap on the back sometimes. Okay, so that's looking fine. So then I'm going to take, let's put this away. I don't like leaving my powder open. Give that a good tap. Definitely put my lid back on. I could even get my brush out, get rid of any stray embossing powder, and then I'm going to heat this. I'm going to heat it from the top, but if you heat it from the back, obviously you're going to have the tape all on it, and it won't, it'll mess up the tape. So you will need to heat this from the front. I'm going to let it really heat up before I bring the heat tool to my sentiments, and then they should go really quickly. So hopefully, I don't know if this is catching it on camera, but just work across one at a time till it's all heated, it's all gone raised and shiny, and then you can move it away. No waggling of the heat tool, please. Okay, just look. I mean, I love metallic powders, like for me, embossing and gold, but look at that. It is just so beautiful. It's, when they said polished metal, I think they should have called it liquid gold. It's just like, wow. Honestly, it is so beautiful. So then we can peel these. Right, what you should do, and I embossed something this morning, and I was too hasty to touch it because it's like, oh, look at that. And I touched it and left my fingerprints in it. So I'm going to leave this to cool while I stamp this out in silver, because I want you to be able to see the polished silver as well. And then I will peel those off. So these aren't going to be in the right place for this, because I can show you that, because look, the banners aren't in the same place as they were for the white one. Now, if I'd have taped it in the same place, that would have been even better, so I could have drawn around it so I knew it was in the right place, and then this would have been set up ready to go again. But they're not. So you must clean your stamps before you move them and put them on the black. The reason I do that is because there is embossing ink on here, and as soon as I touch that down on the black card, it's going to mark the card, and it might not be in quite the right place. So then I move it, and then we wonder when we actually heat emboss them why they don't come out very nicely. So you must clean them before you place them down ready to go on your black card. So just get it in the right place. I think I can, no I can't. Right, so let's take these off, and then I can pick that one up, because I've got it in the where I want it, I think. I feel like that wants to come down a little bit, and every time I do it, that's better. Right, so pick that up, then happy birthday. Obviously it doesn't matter if they're not in the same order. That looks okay. And then if I don't get these quite in the right order, it's because my camera is right in front of where I need to get to be able to see them, and it's really hard to get my head in the right place. So I hope I am placing them exactly right. I think I did all right with the white ones. Okay, so definitely, because I have touched it so many times, I need to wipe my anti-static bag to get all that moisture that are in my fingers that I've wiped all over the card. So again, we might not get very clean embossing because I have touched it. Okay, so gently with our ink, definitely gently with our fingers, so fairy fingers. And we'll be able to see it this time because it's on the black, so you can always see the embossing. And they don't look too bad to me like that, but let's have a look. So now we want the silver. Now this is polished silver. And lots of the stockists who have my stamps will stock WOW embossing powders. So if you are after them, I'm sure lots of them, because they are new powders to WOW, so they've only recently come out, but I know that lots of people have got them now. So pop that in there. Give that a wipe. Let's bring my heat tool back in. All right, somebody's just, Maxine was asking if Hazel's got the powders yet. Yes, she has. I know that Maxine from Maximum Crafts is watching as well. I don't know if Maxine's got them, if she's still watching. Maxine, feel free to put up if you have. I know that obviously WOW have got them on their site. Okay, so let me just bring that up. But look at, I mean, I need to wipe this as well with my, because I've got Magic anti-static bag all on it, so I need to wipe it, buff it up. It's one of the things that I always forget about. Once the embossing has dried, don't forget to wipe the powder off using a dry cloth. But isn't that beautiful? And the sentiments just look gorgeous as well, like even that really fine font of the happy birthday. And this is only a regular powder that we're using here. I don't know if it is available in Superfine or if it's going to be. You're waiting, Maxine's going to have them, so she's got them coming in as well. I don't know if there's any other stockists we're watching. If there are, I apologise, because I haven't seen, it doesn't tell me everybody who's watching. It's so annoying. Okay, so that's my sentiments. So I will get them out of the banners and show you those, because the gold will have cooled down by now. And then I wanted to show you a tip for heat embossing a big sentiment. So it's something that we've done before. It's not something new, but yeah, I'd like to share it with, because there's going to be people who haven't seen that yet. So now I need to carefully peel these out, because obviously the tape is holding them. But just look at that. I mean, it's just beautiful. And then you can just keep these, do a load. Once you've got one jig set up, I would like, and you only need one really. Once you've got one set up, just stamp, die cut, have lots die cut ready, and just stamp a lot in one go. Do coloured card with black stamping on them, so you've got all these in a dish ready to go when you want a sentiment for your card. And there are so many different sentiments as well. They just look beautiful. So that, now I will keep that. I can put it away with my die, and I've got that ready to go for next time, for when I want to do some more. So that's my white ones. I will keep that. And then with the dry part of my cloth, I'm going to brush over and hopefully get some of the marks off. Again, peel these off carefully. Once you've done it a few times, it's obviously going to lose some of its stick. So it's quite aggressive stick at the moment because it's new. But look at that. I mean, and honestly, it is just so beautiful. I thought of something else that I want to do, and I will do that as well before we go. I'm not actually going to make a card. I'm just going to like show different ways and different things, I think, with the embossing powders and the sentiments, if that's okay. And I'll come back on another time and do a card. But it's just nice, like, to pass on some hints and tips. Sometimes, even if you know it, it's just watching something and reminding yourself, oh yes, if I do that, and then I can set myself up and let's have a sentiment stamping day, or half an hour or whatever, you know. A bit like I need a day doing backgrounds again. Oh, Jackie, have you still not found your die? Oh no. Jackie's got the die and she's put it somewhere safe. So again, I'll keep this. Sometimes it's better to put white sentiments in here because you'll be able to see a lot more when you're trying to line things up. And if you want to add the outline or the stitching, you can do that as well. So you would obviously do all 5 in one go. And on the stamp, there are little hearts that you can line up that are actually here in the die as well. So you can line them up and make it much easier to align those. So we've got lovely black and white sentiments ready. Right, the next thing, look at how beautiful does this look. So I die cut my happy, and I've done several because I like to layer these together and make them much more like an embellishment. But I mean, how beautiful does that liquid gold, polished gold, I forget, that polished gold look on that sentiment? Isn't it gorgeous? So when I do this, I die cut usually 3 of my sentiment, and then I'm going to stick them together. Now, when I pulled one of them out, I lost the end of the Y, but I'm not going to throw it away because I'm gluing them together and it's only building up dimension for me. I don't have to waste the fact that it's broken off. No one is going to know. I was rushing this morning. It was like 5 to 10. And I'm trying to die cut everything and emboss everything. Yeah. Because suddenly more and more ideas were coming to me. Okay, so I line it all up. It's really nicely lined up. Don't want any extra bits hanging over or anything like that. I'm going to put the extra piece of the Y back on, because then my layer on top will be the same thickness. But by layering these up, and it makes such a difference. And I just cut these out of scrap card. So somebody gave me, I think it was Hazel, gave me some offcuts of watercolour card, and all I do is, they're not quite the right size for a card, so I just literally use them for die cutting. And when I'm building the layers up, it doesn't matter that it's watercolour card. Nobody knows, doesn't matter what's underneath. In fact, this was watercolour card, so that's why I've got a little bit of texture still. This is more than one layer of embossing on here. I was only going to do 1 layer, but then I decided to touch it too soon and leave my fingerprints in it. So not a good idea. Doesn't look as nice. So I'm just sticking this down, lining everything up so you don't get that white shadow behind, or I'm trying not to. And it's not wanting to stick at this end because some of the powder on the back. So I would always put something heavy on the top of it. And your stamping press actually is something really good. This is really heavy, or quite heavy. It's heavy enough anyway to flatten it, but it's got that lovely spongy background, so it's not going to damage or hurt the embossed piece at all. But it'll just be enough weight on it just to let that glue start to adhere. So I have a birthday one here that I've also cut 3. I would always layer them up at the end. So this one is ready to be embossed. So I'm going to move this out of the way. Let's put this over here with my stamping press on it. So this is ready to be embossed. And I wanted to show you how I did it, because instead of, there's multiple ways you can do it. I could get a piece of card, I could wipe the ink all over it, and then I could die cut my words out of it. And if you put 2 together, you don't actually, if I show you on the waist, so I could just ink this panel in the middle and die cut those words. You're not actually going to lose much that you don't use of the embossing powder. So you can do it that way, or you can take a brayer and you can roll it in your ink pad, ink it up nicely, and you can see that the ink is on the brayer. It's gone nice and shiny, and then you can just brayer over the top of your word, and that way the brayer is touching on those letters. Bring it up. Don't know if you'll be able to see it enough, but in real life I can see that there's ink. It might not be perfectly all over, but I can see that there is ink. The other way, you can just, if you don't have a brayer, you can just take the word in and just tap it in your ink pad. The only problem with doing that is that you get ink everywhere. It's all on your fingers. It'll all be on the back of your letters as well. So you're embossing, and the embossing powder will stick front and back, which doesn't matter, but you're using more embossing. This way, you're going to get a more even coverage. So then I'm going to bring my catcher in. I'm going to do it in gold because I've got the happy in gold. I was going to do it in silver, so I'll do it in silver so you can see both. And then I won't do them together. Oh, I wonder if we could mix them. Ooh, okay, something else to try. I wonder what they would look like. Well, I need to clean my brayer off, so I'll just do a bit of that. Okay, so now what I do is I use my tweezers and I come in under a letter that's got a circle in the middle, so I can tap. Oh, look, I nearly had a birthday in there. So I can tap the excess off. Let's put this back. Move that out of the way, put my lid on. And then I use my tweezers to hold this in place before I heat it up. So let's move my glue and my brayer. And we will heat it. It will fly around and everything, but it doesn't matter. So I'm going to put it on hot, so it on setting number 2, and then heat this up. Okay, so now I can bring the heat tool in, and it starts to go immediately. It heats it really quickly. If you try and keep the heat tool above it, it won't move around quite so much. Make sure you heat every last bit. And then if you need to move to get that last piece, take your heat tool away. I just want to make sure everything's heated up nicely. Right, don't touch it, because this is what I did last time. I went, oh, look at that, and I picked it up, and then I got all embossing on my fingerprint, on my thumb. So don't pick it up just yet, because the glass will hold the heat as well. So you need to give this just a little bit of time. Right, I'm going to bring it up. Look at that. Isn't that and that's just one layer. Honestly, it's like liquid metal. It's beautiful. Absolutely stunning. So now I can pop that onto my layers. So I glue these two together first of all, so it's got a bit more time to cool down. So I was trying to read. Love the effects you get with your happy embossed lead. Yes, it does make a real sentiment. It's almost like a chipboard sentiment when you layer them up. And when you start putting those on your card, it has much more impact on your card as well than just putting the embossed one on as a single layer. So it's really worth taking your time, lining everything up and letting those stick. I didn't do very well with my happy, bit cross with myself. We don't give the glue a chance to actually bond. So we just need to give it those few seconds just to bond onto the one below. And then that way you get a really nice layer together. Okay, so some more glue, and then we can put our embossed one on. And what's really good as well, like sometimes when you emboss things, they can go a little bit out of shape because of the heat. Like that one is bending up a little bit, but it would flatten out if I wanted to put it on a card just as it was. Would just probably need to put something heavy on it for a little bit. But by layering it up, you're making it much more sturdy. There's so many more things you can do technique wise with cards. You can do gap cards and use your sentiment to bridge the gap because you've got it layered up. So literally just lining everything up. I'm sorry if I held it too close to myself last time I did it. Didn't think about that, if it was in shot. Hopefully it was. Okay. So now we've got, let's bring the happy back in. Let's get myself a piece of card just to pop them on, just to show you. But how beautiful. Look at that. Oh, it is honestly, I don't think I've ever been so wowed by something that we almost already have, like the gold and the silver, but these are just so, they are so different. So the gold and silver metallic. Honestly, if you like embossing, treat yourself. They're just gorgeous. Okay, so I'm going to wipe off I'm going to do it on black just because. So I'm going to clean my brayer. There's not a lot of ink. I can see that it's not going to be a solid coverage, but that's fine. Just clean that off, or get as much ink off as you can. I will wash it as well afterwards, just with some warm soapy water. Let's put my lid back on my glue. I want to do one more technique, or show you one more thing. It's not really a technique. Okay, so I'm just going to put sprinkles. I want it to be gold and silver. So I'm going to have bits of the gold. Okay, so now, actually I want a bit more there. When I flip it over, you've got to do like Marion says, and not lean it up and let it all fall off. You've got to flip it so that you do actually get some spaces left. Because if you just tip it up, it will just run down your card and it will just emboss like normal. There'll be gold all over it. So if you flip it, rather than just tip it up like we would normally. So now, I'll bring this back in and I can go over with the silver and I can cover it completely this time because the gold will stay where it is. It won't contaminate my silver. So now I can tip it up normally like I would normally and just tip it up. But I do still have that gold powder on there. So let's pop this back in the bottle. It's not really a bottle, is it? In the tub. And then I'm going to heat this. Let's try and heat it from underneath this time. So I let it get hot first of all. And then I'll bring my heat tool in and hopefully you'll be able to see this actually happening. That we'll get a bit of gold and a bit of silver. Now, because there's quite a lot more silver than gold, oh, it's almost gone platinumy. Oh. Oh, wow. So the silver is much more dominant than the gold now. Turn it round so I don't burn my fingers. Look at it. Wow. You could actually give this a go with normal gold and silver as well. So any powders that you've already got, give it a go until you get your new ones. Oh, but it's really paled that gold down. It's like, oh, I can't wait. I hope they do platinum. Oh, Philippa, when I read that, it's like, what? Love it. Isn't it gorgeous? Okay, so don't touch it. Like, look at that. It's like a mirror. Isn't that gorgeous? So you could do this much more like sprinkles in there, and you could keep going. So obviously now I can see how much silver has really overtaken it. So I needed much more gold. I could go back in and sprinkle some more gold and heat it from underneath, and that would be fine. I could die cut my happy birthday die out of here now, and I'd have a lovely word to go on it. But just beautiful. And the other thing that I thought of about having a go at was I was thinking about Hazel's happy birthday die. So let me get a piece of card. I'm just going to do the whole piece. I'm not going to like make a card or anything. So I'm going to stick this in place. And I didn't know whether to do a bit of inking first. I think I am. I think I'm going to have a little bit of... I think I'm going to do I did a blue, I did broken china, and I did a bit of pink, which I actually did warm lipstick, and I think I did a bit of mauve. Oh, I did, that's green. Where's that one gone? There it is. I did shaded lilac. Okay, so I'm going to do a bit of this first. So let's pick up some shaded lilac. So I just did areas, and I did do it quite pale actually, and I've gone in a bit heavy there. Never mind, we'll get round it. So I just want different areas of it, and a little bit up here, and then we'll come in with warm lipstick. There's my brush. Remember that you need to leave some room for some blue as well. All these colours overlap beautifully, so they're fine to overlap. Some colours you have to watch when you're overlapping them, because obviously the colours that they mix together are not nice. So let's bring in some broken china, and then I might need to come back in with some pink. So even if you go up into the purple, it gives you a different colour. If you go into the pink, you're getting a different colour, sort of lilac. A bit more down here, and a bit in there. So we'll have a bit more. I think we'll have a bit more blue there. Okay, we'll bring this up a bit more with pink, and there we go. Right, so now this will be wet because of the distressed oxide. So first of all, I need to wipe my stencil while it's in place gently, because it's a busy alphabet and you don't want to catch the letters too much. But so I've got a really nice, pretty background in all those different colours. So now I'm going to put that back down. I did have a brush. Oh look, I've got lots of spare ones. Right, so I've got a clean brush, and I'm going to use a blending brush with my embossing ink. So I'm going to dab this to get some ink on it. Oh, it feels really stiff. Right, now I'm not going to do it all over. I want to just do it in places. Oh, I didn't dry it, did I? It's probably going to stick everywhere because I didn't dry it. I wonder if I can dry it now. Sorry, ladies, because it will stick to the distressed oxide. So let's give it a bit of a dry. It probably won't dry the embossed bits that I've just done, but I want it to be very hit and miss anyway. I'm not after a solid look, so let's pop this back down. So a bit there, might need a bit more ink on my brush. Have a bit over here. Whoops. Okay, so I want it to be hit and miss with my embossing powder. So now I can take this off. I must wash this afterwards because it's now got embossing ink on it. So hot soapy water, and that will get rid of that. So I'm going to put silver on here because I think it's more silvery colours. It might stick everywhere. I might not have dried it enough. If I didn't, I apologise. No, I didn't. It's stuck everywhere. Right, but I'm going to show you a way around it. Okay, so I didn't dry it enough. Oh, what a shame. And then I smudged it where I moved it. But we could put a butterfly or something over there. So I wouldn't ever just throw it away. Okay, so I'm going to put my collector back down, and I'm going to get a brush that I'm not too worried about, a paintbrush that I'm not too worried about, and I'm going to brush little bits away. So it's going to make it much more random, which is what I wanted. I didn't want it to be too solid or all over. I'll probably be quite heavy-handed with brushing it off. And all those bits that I'm catching can go back in my bottle or in my tub of embossing powder. It's only reacting like this because it's not coming off smoothly because it's got some of the ink on it still, but it'll be fine to be used again. Okay, so let's smooth this off. And let's bring this back in. I nearly brought my stencil in to emboss. Let's not do that. Okay, so I'm going to heat this up. And let's try and do it from underneath. So I wanted it just to be little sprinklings, but that isn't quite what's happened. But we will see what happens, because it's going to be lovely, because it's going to be silvery on the colours. Whoops, sorry. So some of it is quite heavy. I could still have bashed some more off. And then you're going to get little bits where some of the letters have just got a little sprinkling on there. I can't get it far enough away. I think I might be better to do it from the top. You might be able to see it actually happening a bit better. So always working just systematically over it, and that way you're not heating it too much. Whoops! As soon as it's heated, you move the heat tool onto the next area, and you're moving systematically up and down your piece of card. I haven't missed any bits. You can always do that just by angling it in the light a little bit to see whether there's any bits that you haven't got. So just have a little quick look. Okay, so it didn't come out quite like I was imagining. But so I didn't use what glue do you use? The glue that I was using out of my glue bottle, if this is the glue that you meant, that is Pink Frog. So I use the EVA glue, which just fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. And I decant it into the fine nozzle glue bottles. Okay, so it wasn't exactly what I was hoping for, but it's very pretty. That embossing looks lovely on there. You've still got some of the colour, but if I'd have heated it really well in between, then there wouldn't have been as much embossing on it. And where I moved the stencil, I would just place something there, put a sentiment there, put the birthday there, cut the black outline to go over the behind the birthday, so it's really going to stand off from your card. I might make a card with this afterwards. I might turn that into a card because I rather like that. And the liquid silver on liquid silver, I've renamed them, haven't I? Polished silver looks beautiful. Okay, so let me bring the camera back. Bear with me a minute. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly have a look and make sure there's no questions. Oh, thanks, Hilary. It is a nice idea, and even if you did the colour one day and then kept, like, stencil a few backgrounds and then keep them and do them the following day, then you know they're going to be dry. If not, just heat them really well. So yeah, right, let's make sure I've done the glue. Sorry I'm late. No worries, Virginia. It is like magic. Embossing will always be like magic. I have to say, I think the sentiments, when they're layered up, and they're so much more solid, and they look like a chipboard sentiment. They look like faux metal embellishments. They're beautiful. The camera doesn't do it justice, does it, Denise? No, they are absolutely beautiful. Right, okay. I will grab a coffee and read all your comments and answer anything I need to. But yeah, thank you for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've learnt something with the message banner, and all the stockists have them in stock, and the sentiments as well, or they're all available. If one of your stockists doesn't have something in stock, I would always say give them a ring or email them and ask them, when you order next from whoever, could you get me? You know, they're more than happy to help. We need to support their small businesses, because if we don't, they'll disappear, and we don't want that. So yeah, they're available. I'm sure that all the sentiments are available from me, so all the stockists can get them. If they don't have them in stock, I'm sure they will do that for you. But yeah, thank you very much for joining me. I hope you've learned something, and I will be back soon making a card. Okay, take care and have a lovely day. Hope you do some crafting. Bye.